You're alone in the dark, orbiting what's left of a dead Earth. Every signal you've tracked for centuries has been static, until now. A single transmission cuts through the silence. It says your name. It shouldn't exist. Humanity shouldn't exist. But it does. And this is not just a story about space. It's about you. About what remains of your discipline when the world ends. About the voice that calls you back to purpose when everything else is gone. This is the last human signal, and the signal is coming from inside you. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for the signal. You've been waiting for something. A sign. A message. A signal that tells you it's time to move. You tell yourself you're being patient. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right moment. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not waiting for a moment. You're waiting for permission. And that's the problem. You think the world owes you a green light. You think success arrives like a transmission from the universe, a perfect opportunity, a lucky break, a voice that says, "Now you're ready." It doesn't exist. The universe is silent. It's been silent for centuries. Just like the astronaut, orbiting the ruins of Earth, waiting for a signal that never came. He checked the transmitter every day. He kept listening. Year after year, he waited for proof that someone, somewhere, still cared. But nothing came. Just static. Until one day, he realized something life-changing. The signal wasn't missing. It was him. You are the signal. You've always been the signal. Stop waiting for someone to validate you. Stop waiting for a rescue. No one is coming. No one is coming to make you disciplined. No one is coming to make you strong. No one is coming to save you from yourself. That's your job. You have a choice. Right now, you can stay in the orbit of your own excuses, circling the same fears, the same doubts, the same lazy comfort. Or you can start transmitting. Start transmitting effort. Start transmitting focus. Start transmitting strength. Because that's what changes reality. Not words, not wishes, signal. Signal is what you send into the world when you act without needing a reason, when you move without applause. That's the key. You think you need motivation to start. You don't. You need momentum. You need movement. You need to transmit something, even if it's imperfect. The astronaut didn't rebuild the world because he had hope. He rebuilt it because he refused to go silent. Listen carefully. The world rewards those who transmit, not those who wait. The quiet professional who keeps showing up transmits. The builder who keeps building when no one's watching transmits. The disciplined mind that stays consistent when others get distracted transmits. Every action you take is a frequency. Every repetition, every habit, every small, unglamorous choice. It sends a signal that says, "I'm still here. I'm not done. I'm still transmitting." And that signal? It travels farther than you think. But let's be honest. You've spent too much time listening to noise. You scroll, you wait, you compare. You tell yourself it's preparation, research, alignment. It's not. It's avoidance. You're drowning in data, but starving for direction. Because you're waiting for the right frequency, the perfect timing, the ideal environment, the motivation that never comes. There is no perfect frequency. There's only static until you start broadcasting your own message. That's the key. Discipline cuts through noise. Action creates clarity. Every time you move forward without needing to be told, you tune yourself into a higher signal, the frequency of responsibility, focus, and growth. Stop asking, when will it happen? Start asking, what can I transmit today? Here's what that means in your real life. Stop waiting for the ideal plan. Build the plan as you move. Stop waiting for the confidence to act. Confidence is the reward for acting. Stop waiting for people to understand your vision. They won't until you build it. That's the code of the disciplined mind. Move first, feel later. You don't need their permission. You don't need the perfect moment. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to act. You have a choice. Every day, every moment, you either transmit or you go silent. You either act or you decay. Picture the astronaut again, orbiting the cold silence of Earth's remains. Every system still running, every light still blinking. No response, no feedback, no reward. But he keeps sending the signal. Why? Because silence isn't failure, it's the test. Silence is the universe asking, will you transmit even when no one answers? That's what builds strength. That's what builds character. That's how you develop mental toughness that cannot be shaken, by doing what needs to be done long before anyone recognizes it. You have a choice. You can be like the billions who waited for a miracle, or you can be like the one who became the signal. Stop waiting for the message. Stop waiting for the motivation. Stop waiting for the opportunity. You are the message. You are the motivation. You are the opportunity. Repeat that until it's burned into your thoughts. Stop waiting, start transmitting. The signal begins with you. Say it again. Stop waiting, start transmitting. The signal begins with you. Every time you repeat it, it gets stronger. Every time you act on it, you get clearer. Every time you live by it, you get freer. That's the formula. Not hope, not luck, not chance. Discipline. Because discipline doesn't wait for the signal. Discipline is the signal. So what do you do now? You build something. You commit to something. You execute something small every single day. Because when you stop waiting and start building, you shift your entire frequency. People start noticing. Opportunities start aligning. Reality starts bending around your consistency. But it never starts until you transmit first. The astronaut stopped listening for voices. He started listening for purpose. He realized the static wasn't noise. It was feedback. It was proof he was still alive, still capable, still in motion. That's the truth about silence. It's not empty. It's your test. It's your training ground. It's where you learn to lead yourself. Stop waiting for something to happen. Make something happen. Stop waiting for clarity. Create clarity through movement. Stop waiting for life to send you the signal. You are the signal. Repeat it until it's instinct. Stop waiting. Start transmitting. The signal begins with you. You just mastered the first rule of the new human code. Act without waiting. Move without permission. Lead without applause. Now you're ready for the next level, the moment where isolation becomes your greatest weapon. Chapter 2. Isolation reveals the truth. Silence exposes everything. That's what no one tells you. When the noise is gone, When the screens go dark, the messages stop coming, and the distractions fade, what's left is you. Just you. And that's when the truth walks in. People spend their lives running from silence because silence is honest. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't comfort you. It doesn't lie. Silence tells you exactly who you are when there's no audience to perform for, no algorithm to please, no validation to chase. Isolation isn't punishment. It's revelation. It's the mirror that never blinks. The astronaut learned this the hard way. Years alone, orbiting the dead Earth. No voices, no contact, no mission updates. Just the hum of the ship and the echo of his own thoughts. At first, it was torture. Then it became instruction. Because in the void, there's nowhere to hide. There's no one to blame. There's no story to tell that covers the truth. He had to face himself, his regrets, his arrogance, his fear, his distractions. And so do you. You have a choice: run from isolation or use it. That's the key. Most people can't stand being alone because they don't like who they are when the world isn't watching. They need the noise to drown out the weakness. They need the attention to feel alive. But here's the truth. If you need constant noise, you are not alive. You are dependent. And dependency kills discipline. When you're alone, the illusions collapse. You see how little focus you actually have. You see how much of your identity is built on reaction instead of intention. You see the difference between who you pretend to be and who you actually are. That's why isolation is a weapon. It destroys the mask. Every person who has ever built something real learned this. The monk in the mountains, the soldier on deployment, the athlete training before dawn, the astronaut orbiting nothing. They all faced the same moment, the moment where silence says, "Now, let's see what's left." And what's left determines everything. Isolation doesn't break you. It exposes where you were already broken. You have a choice. Face it or fake it. Face the cracks and fill them with discipline, or keep pretending they don't exist. That's the key. The astronaut found himself talking to the silence, not to escape it, to understand it. He realized that loneliness wasn't an absence of people. It was an absence of purpose. He wasn't missing humanity. He was missing meaning. And that's where you are too. You think you're lonely, but you're just unfocused. You think you're disconnected, but you're just undisciplined. When you live without a clear purpose, the silence feels heavy. When you live with intention, the silence feels clean. That's the difference. Isolation reveals truth, and truth demands responsibility. When you're finally alone with your thoughts, you realize how much of your life has been outsourced to opinions, to comfort, to approval. You realize how many of your choices were just reactions. You realize how much time you've wasted waiting for company, waiting for permission, waiting for noise. But here's the hard reality. You don't need them. You never did. You don't need their company to be complete. You don't need their applause to be valuable. You don't need their validation to act. You just need clarity, and clarity lives in isolation. Isolation is the forge. It melts away the unnecessary. It burns off the weakness. It leaves only what's essential: your will. When you stop distracting yourself, when you stop numbing your mind with noise, your real thoughts start to surface, your real ambitions, your real fears, your real voice. It's uncomfortable at first. It should be. Growth doesn't come from comfort. Growth comes from confrontation. You have a choice. Run from your thoughts or lead them. That's the key. So here's what you do. Take time alone on purpose, not as punishment, not as retreat, as training. Turn off the devices, turn off the noise. Sit in the silence and listen to your own mind. You'll find patterns. You'll hear excuses. You'll notice every weak thought that's been steering your life in circles. And when you see them clearly, you can destroy them. That's the work. That's where strength begins, in the quiet. Because silence isn't empty. It's full of truth. The astronaut began to write again. Not for anyone else, not to be remembered, but to make order out of the chaos in his mind. Every sentence was a transmission, not out into space, but back into himself. He was building structure. He was building discipline. He was rebuilding meaning. And that's what you must do. Stop thinking of isolation as loss. Start seeing it as construction. You are not losing people. You are gaining self-control. You are not losing attention. You are gaining direction. That's the transformation. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. Most people never reach their potential because they never stay alone long enough to meet it. They fill every moment with input and wonder why they never produce output. You have to step back. You have to disconnect. You have to strip life down to the essentials: you, your mind, your mission. When you do, something powerful happens. You start to hear your own signal again, not the static of fear, not the noise of comparison, your signal. That's when you become dangerous, focused, clear, quietly powerful. Because the one who can stand alone cannot be controlled. The one who can sit in silence cannot be manipulated. The one who can lead himself never needs to be rescued. So, let the silence teach you. Let the isolation refine you. Let the solitude rebuild you. You have a choice. Run from the quiet or rise inside it. Stop fearing loneliness. Start mastering it. Because in the silence, you'll finally meet the version of yourself that can handle anything. The version that doesn't panic. The version that doesn't chase. The version that doesn't break. That's who you're supposed to become. Isolation reveals the truth. And the truth is this: you've always been enough once you learn to stand alone. You've learned to stop waiting. You've learned to stand still in the silence. Now it's time to take the next step to understand what sustains you when all emotion fades and only structure remains. Chapter 3. Discipline is the last form of hope. Hope is fragile. Discipline is not. Hope is emotional. Discipline is mechanical. Hope fades when things get hard. Discipline sharpens when things get hard. That's the difference between the dreamers and the doers, between those who wait for rescue and those who rebuild worlds. When the astronaut realized no one was coming, when he accepted that the silence would last forever, something powerful happened. He stopped hoping, and he started working. That's the shift that changes everything. You see, hope feels good, but it doesn't move you. Hope gives you comfort, but it doesn't give you progress. Discipline gives you progress. Discipline gives you control. Discipline gives you power when everything else collapses. When all emotion is gone, when motivation has evaporated, when no one's watching, discipline remains. That's why discipline is the last form of hope, because it's the only thing that survives the silence. The astronaut followed the same checklist every morning. He didn't skip. He didn't adjust. He didn't negotiate. He moved through every motion like a ritual. Not because it mattered, but because it was the only thing that did matter. Each action was a declaration, I'm still here. I'm still transmitting. That's what discipline is. Proof of existence. When you have discipline, you don't need to believe everything will be okay. You just need to do the next task. You just need to execute the mission. That's the key. Hope waits for results. Discipline creates results. Hope prays the storm will pass. Discipline builds shelter. Hope says, maybe tomorrow. Discipline says, now. Hope wants emotion. Discipline wants order. You have to decide which one you want to live by. Because the world doesn't reward those who feel inspired. It rewards those who stay consistent. You have a choice every single day. You can wait for motivation, or you can move through discipline. When the astronaut began rebuilding the ship's systems, he had no idea if it mattered. He had no proof it would change anything, but he kept going, line by line, bolt by bolt. Not because he felt like it, because he decided to act like it. That's the distinction between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs act when they feel like it. Professionals act because they said they would. And discipline, real discipline, is about keeping your word to yourself long after the mood has left you. That's the key. You tell yourself you need more energy. You don't. You need more structure. You tell yourself you need more motivation. You don't. You need more repetition. You tell yourself you need a plan. You don't. You need to execute the one you already made. That's what separates the committed from the comfortable. Repetition in the absence of emotion. Emotion is loud. Discipline is quiet. Emotion fades. Discipline endures. That's why the strongest people seem calm under pressure. Their system runs deeper than feeling. They don't chase motivation. They build automation. Look around you. Most people are running on temporary fuel. Hype, adrenaline, excitement. And when that runs out, they stop. That's not strength. That's dependence. But the ones who keep going when they're tired, uninspired, and unseen, Those are the people who build empires. That's the astronaut story. That's your story. That's the human code. You keep going even when no one's listening. Because discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It only cares about what you do. Here's what you need to remember. Every morning you wake up, you have one mission. Execute. Don't wait for the mood. Don't check if you feel ready. Just move. Do the workout. Write the page. Build the project. Show up to the process. That's how you train your mind to obey purpose, not emotion. That's how you rewire your system from chaos to control. Because the truth is simple. You will never rise above your habits. Your results are not built on your best days. They're built on your consistent days. That's why discipline is hope in motion. It's the daily act of saying, even if it doesn't work, I will. Even if no one sees, I will. Even if I don't feel it, I will. Even if I fail, I will. Because that's what keeps you alive when the rest of the world goes silent. The astronaut didn't rebuild Earth. He rebuilt himself. And that's what you're doing too. Every time you stay consistent, every time you execute when no one's watching, you're proving something profound. That your worth isn't conditional on outcome. It's built on effort. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not loud. It's repetitive. It's methodical. It's relentless. And that's why it works. Because the world belongs to the ones who repeat until it's automatic. You have a choice. Stay emotional or stay consistent. Chase comfort or build control. Wait for change or become the change. There's a reason the disciplined survive every collapse, because while everyone else is panicking, the disciplined are executing. While everyone else is hoping, the disciplined are building. While everyone else is searching for meaning, the disciplined are creating it. That's the secret. Discipline is meaning. Discipline is purpose. Discipline is hope, translated into action. You don't need to believe everything will get better. You just need to keep showing up. You don't need to be inspired. You just need to stay consistent. Because one day, you'll look up, and the systems you built in silence will become your salvation. That's what the astronaut discovered. He didn't need hope to survive. He needed structure. He needed process. He needed discipline. And once he had that, he didn't just survive. He thrived. So stop searching for hope. Start building it. Stop waiting for strength. Start scheduling it. Stop chasing emotion. Start mastering repetition. That's the code. When everything else falls apart, when the signals stop, when the silence closes in, when you can't see the point, discipline keeps you moving. Because discipline doesn't ask why. It just says, do. You've learned not to wait. You've learned to stand in silence. And now you've learned to keep moving, no matter what. That's how leaders are built. That's how survivors are made. That's the signal stays alive. You mastered the power of discipline. Now it's time to go deeper. You've built the structure. Now it's time to protect it. Chapter 4. Emotion will betray you. Emotion is a signal, but it's not a command. That's where most people fail. They think feeling something means they must act on it. They think fear means stop. They think anger means attack. They think sadness means surrender. It doesn't. Emotion is information, not instruction. You can listen to it, you can learn from it, but you don't obey it. Because if you obey emotion, emotion will betray you. When the astronaut lost contact with the last transmission, he broke. For days, he couldn't move. He stopped maintaining the systems. He stopped sending the signal. He sat in the dark, drowning in the flood of his own thoughts. Fear, guilt, loneliness, all of it hit at once. And that's what happens when you let emotion lead. The system collapses. Because emotion doesn't care about your mission, it only cares about itself. Emotion wants release. Discipline wants results. Emotion wants comfort. Discipline wants clarity. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is eternal. That's the key. You can't build a calm mind if you keep reacting to every internal storm. You can't build focus if you keep obeying every impulse. You can't build strength if you keep giving your power to feelings. Every time you lose control to emotion, you lose control of your direction. Think about it. How many opportunities have you destroyed because you didn't feel like it? How many relationships have you damaged because you felt angry? How many times have you quit because it felt hopeless? You obeyed emotion, and emotion betrayed you. That's why the strongest people look calm, not because they don't feel, but because they don't react. They feel anger, but they don't move through it. They feel fear, but they don't retreat. They feel pain, but they don't collapse. They observe the emotion. They analyze it. They act through discipline, not reaction. You have a choice. You can be ruled by emotion, or you can rule over it. That's the key. The astronaut learned this truth one brutal night. A system malfunction triggered an alarm. Red lights, sirens, chaos. He panicked. He let fear take control. He made a mistake, one that nearly destroyed the entire ship. When he recovered, he realized something vital. The danger wasn't the malfunction. The danger was him. His panic was the real threat. He learned to breathe through it. He learned to detach. He learned to observe without obeying. That's the moment he became unbreakable. And that's your challenge too, to feel without flinching. Don't run from emotion. Don't suppress it. Control it. Anger? Use it as fuel. Fear? Use it as focus. Sadness? Use it as signal. That's mastery, when you transform emotion into motion. Because emotion is energy, and energy, if disciplined, becomes power. But if undisciplined, it becomes chaos. That's why emotional control is the foundation of mental toughness. You cannot be mentally strong if you are emotionally fragile. You cannot lead if you lose control every time something hurts. You cannot create if you collapse every time you feel doubt. You have a choice. Be the captain or be the chaos. Here's the truth. The world rewards emotional control. The loudest people rarely last. The calm ones, the steady ones, the ones who respond, not react, they build legacies. Because in every crisis, people look for one thing: composure. Not emotion, composure. Composure is the signal that cuts through panic. Composure is strength in its purest form, power without noise. The astronaut stopped reacting. He started responding. He didn't yell. He didn't panic. He didn't break things out of frustration. He analyzed, adjusted, acted. That's emotional discipline, and it's rare. Emotion is a test. Every time it rises, it's asking you one question. Who's in command right now? Me or you? Every time you feel irritation, fear, or frustration, pause and ask yourself, who's running this system right now? If it's emotion, you're drifting. If it's discipline, you're leading. That's how you build power. That's how you build peace. That's how you build an unshakable mind. Because true calm isn't the absence of emotion, it's control within emotion. Think of it like space navigation. Every decision the astronaut made could have ended his life. One mistake, one panic reaction, one impulse. He learned to operate like a machine, deliberate, steady, precise, not cold, but controlled, not emotionless, but directed. He still felt fear. He still felt doubt. He just stopped negotiating with them. You need to do the same. Stop negotiating with weakness. Stop justifying your reactions. Stop excusing emotional outbursts as just being human. You are human, but you are also capable of control. That's your advantage. You don't need to eliminate emotion. You need to eliminate emotional obedience. You don't need to feel nothing. You need to feel everything and remain unmoved. That's real power. That's real freedom. When emotion no longer controls your actions, you become untouchable. The critic can't provoke you. The failure can't break you. The praise can't distract you. You move on mission. You move by discipline. You move because you said you would. That's the signal of mastery. The astronaut's calm became his weapon. He learned that stillness is louder than fear. He learned that composure is the final proof of strength. He didn't suppress emotion. He transcended it. And that's what you must do. Rise above reaction. Because once you stop reacting, nothing can manipulate you. Once you stop reacting, you control time. Once you stop reacting, you control outcome. You have a choice: react or respond, obey emotion or lead it, collapsing chaos or command through clarity. So the next time emotion hits, breathe. Pause. Wait. Watch the storm, but don't become the storm. You'll notice something incredible. It passes. It always passes. Emotion wants to dominate you. Don't let it. Use it. Channel it. Convert it. Because once you learn to command emotion, you command everything. You've learned to act without waiting. You've learned to face silence without fear. And now you've learned to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them. That's power. That's peace. That's the code of the new human. Now it's time to build on that control, to sharpen your focus, to remove every distraction and move with single-minded clarity.
Chapter 5: The Power of One Focus. Focus is power. Not energy, not talent, not luck. Focus. That's what separates those who drift from those who dominate. The scattered mind dies in noise. The focused mind cuts through it. The astronaut learns this the hard way. At first, he tried to do everything at once: repair systems, decode signals, maintain life support, monitor data. He burned out. He made mistakes. He almost didn't make it. Then he realized the truth. In survival, in growth, in life, The mind must point in one direction, one mission, one outcome, one signal. That's the key. You live in a world that worships distraction. Every beep, every buzz, every opinion, every outrage, all designed to scatter your attention, to pull you from your purpose, to make you forget what matters. And when you forget what matters, you lose power. Distraction is not harmless, it's decay. Every second you give away is a piece of your potential you'll never get back. You have to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. The person who cannot focus cannot grow. The person who cannot focus cannot lead. The person who cannot focus cannot create anything of value. That's the truth. Focus is not intensity. It's consistency. Anyone can focus for 5 minutes. Anyone can sprint for a day, but only the disciplined can focus for years. That's why most people never change. They chase everything. They finish nothing. They start the new thing before the old one even has roots. They never commit long enough to see the signal return. You want results? Pick one mission. Burn the rest. That's the power of one focus. The astronaut stopped trying to fix every system at once. He picked one. He focused on the signal. Every day, transmit, recalibrate, listen, repeat. Weeks passed, then months, then silence again. But he didn't stop, because focus is not about excitement. It's about endurance. You have to stay focused when the results are invisible. You have to keep transmitting when no one answers. You have to believe in the process when nothing happens. That's discipline. That's power. That's faith without noise. You have a choice. Scatter yourself thin and feel busy, or sharpen yourself narrow and become dangerous. Because focus isn't just mental, it's spiritual. When your mind, body, and actions align behind one purpose, the universe stops resisting. You stop asking for permission. You stop seeking validation. You stop chasing distractions disguised as opportunities. You move in one direction with ruthless clarity. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build mastery. That's how you build peace. Focus is freedom. You think freedom is doing whatever you want. It's not. Freedom is knowing exactly what to ignore. The world will always tempt you with noise. It will tell you to multitask, to say yes to everything, to be everywhere at once. Don't fall for it. Every yes to distraction is a no to your purpose. Every moment you scatter your focus, you weaken your discipline. Every time you split your energy, you dilute your signal. That's why most people never rise. They're too busy reacting to static. You must become immune to noise, unreachable by chaos, untouchable by distraction. The calmest person in the room always has the most power, because focus radiates control. The astronaut found peace in repetition. Transmit, adjust, wait. Every day, the same rhythm. Every day, the same mission. That's what modern people fear most, monotony. But that's what mastery requires, repetition without resistance. Stop chasing stimulation. Start chasing stillness. Stillness is the foundation of focus. Focus is the foundation of mastery. You have to fall in love with boredom, because boredom means you're finally doing what matters long enough for it to work. That's the secret. That's the edge. Most people break focus not because they fail, but because they get impatient. They want results faster than discipline can deliver them. They confuse motion with progress. But the universe doesn't reward activity. It rewards alignment. You can move constantly and still go nowhere. You can try everything and still be stuck. Because trying isn't focus. Doing one thing with full conviction, that's focus. You don't need more effort. You need more direction. You don't need more speed. You need more precision. You don't need 1,000 goals. You need one purpose, carried out with relentless discipline. The astronaut's entire mission became a meditation on focus. He learned to tune out everything except what mattered. He realized that every thought, every emotion, every impulse was either fuel or interference. And he chose fuel. You have to do the same. Ask yourself, what's the one thing you must build? What's the one mission you must complete? What's the one signal you must keep sending, no matter how long it takes to be heard? That's where your power is. That's where your peace is. The rest is noise. So simplify. Cut the unnecessary. Eliminate the extra. Protect your mental bandwidth like oxygen. Stop chasing distractions. Stop opening new doors before you've walked through the one you're in. Stop letting other people's chaos hijack your clarity. You have a mission. Don't trade it for noise. Remember, focus creates progress. Progress creates momentum. Momentum creates transformation. And transformation is what this entire journey is about. You have to choose. Be scattered and survive, or focused and ascend. Because the moment you commit fully, when your signal aligns with your discipline, everything changes. The astronaut understood that. He wasn't chasing survival anymore. He was chasing precision. And in that focus, he found freedom. You've learned to stop waiting. You've learned to face silence. You've learned to master emotion. Now you've learned to channel all of that energy into one direction, one purpose. The mind is now sharp. The noise is gone. The signal is pure. But there's still one more battle left. The war against time itself. Because focus is nothing without patience. Now, let's talk about endurance.
Chapter 6. The discipline of waiting. Waiting is hard. Not because it's boring, not because it's uncomfortable. Waiting is hard because most people do it wrong. They sit, they fidget, they panic, they complain, and then they quit. But discipline doesn't quit. Discipline waits. Discipline endures. The astronaut learned this in the void of space. He waited for the signal. Not days, not weeks, not months. Years. Years of silence. And in those years, he learned the hardest lesson. Waiting is not passive. Waiting is action. You have a choice. Wait passively and decay, or wait actively and grow. Passive waiting is fear disguised as patience. Active waiting is discipline disguised as silence. When you practice active waiting, you don't just survive the delay. You prepare for it. You sharpen yourself. You strengthen your systems. You don't waste time hoping for results. You build the muscle to endure until results arrive. That's the key. Waiting is where ordinary people break. It's where dreams are lost. It's where hope dies. Because most people don't understand this. Time isn't against you. Your impatience is. The universe doesn't owe you speed. It doesn't owe you clarity. It doesn't owe you answers. You do. You owe yourself patience. You owe yourself focus. You owe yourself discipline. The astronaut understood that. Every day he maintained the ship. Every day he transmitted the same signal. Every day he learned more about the systems, the silence, himself. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He didn't pretend to know the end. He waited. Waiting requires mental toughness. It's uncomfortable because the mind wants instant gratification. The mind wants results yesterday. The mind wants excitement. But discipline is calm. Discipline is patient. Discipline understands that timing matters more than impulse. The astronaut didn't control the universe. He controlled himself. And that made all the difference. You have a choice. Let impatience ruin you, or let discipline guide you. That's the key. Waiting teaches clarity. It forces you to prioritize. It reveals what is truly essential. When the astronaut had nothing but silence, he saw what was important: the signal, the systems, the process. Everything else fell away. And that's what waiting does for you. It strips distractions. It eliminates the unnecessary. It forces the mind to sharpen on essentials. Every day you wait actively, you strengthen your focus. Every day you endure, you build resilience. Every day you master patience, you gain control over your life. Most people think waiting is passive. They scroll, they complain, they fidget. They hope someone will act for them. That's why most people fail, because discipline is not passive. Discipline waits. Discipline prepares. Discipline strengthens while the world sleeps. You have a choice: waste time or build yourself in the silence of delay. That's the key. Waiting without purpose is wasted time. Waiting with discipline is a weapon. The astronaut didn't just wait for the signal to return. He waited to become stronger. He waited to become sharper. He waited to become ready. You must do the same. Every delay in your life is not a curse. It's an opportunity to sharpen your mind, an opportunity to strengthen your habits, an opportunity to master patience. Discipline in waiting creates power. You'll notice something incredible. When you finally act, you act with certainty. When you finally move, you move with speed and precision. Because every second you waited actively, you prepared. Passive people rush and fail. Disciplined people wait and win. You have a choice: rush to the chaos or wait for the opportunity. That's the key. Waiting builds resilience. It teaches you to handle uncertainty. It forces you to rely on yourself. The astronaut had no guarantees, no communication, no proof of success. And yet, he endured. He mastered the monotony. He transformed waiting into a weapon. That's what you must do. Transform delay into discipline. Transform silence into preparation. Transform patience into power. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. You will always face waiting. You will always face uncertainty. You will always face silence. The difference is what you do while you wait. Most people give up. Most people complain. Most people shrink. You endure. You strengthen. You prepare. Because waiting without discipline is wasted time. Waiting with discipline is unstoppable power. So stop fearing the delay. Stop rushing for instant results. Stop complaining about the timing. Instead, wait with purpose. Wait with patience. Wait with discipline. That's how you survive. That's how you thrive. That's how you become unshakable. The astronaut waited, and when the signal finally returned, he was ready. You must be ready too. You've learned to act without waiting. You've learned to face silence without fear. You've learned to master emotion. You've learned to focus on one purpose. Now you've learned the ultimate secret. Patience, endurance, and disciplined waiting create power beyond imagination. You're ready for the next level, to take control of your mind and remove every internal threat to your focus.
Chapter 7. Command your mind or lose the mission. Your mind is your battlefield. Your thoughts are soldiers. Your focus is the general. And if you don't command your mind, it will command you. That's the truth. The astronaut learned this the hard way. Years alone in orbit, and suddenly the mind becomes the enemy. Small fears grow into mountains. Small doubts grow into storms. Every regret becomes a weapon pointed at you. And if you let it, it will destroy you faster than any external threat. You have a choice. Command your mind or be lost in it. Most people think the enemy is outside. The truth? The enemy is inside. Your mind will lie to you. It will tell you you're weak. It will tell you you can't. It will tell you to stop, to quit, to run. It doesn't care about your mission. It doesn't care about your purpose. It doesn't care about your goals. It only cares about comfort. That's why you cannot obey it. You cannot indulge it. You must command it. The astronaut began to notice the patterns. Every time he faced a problem, his mind tried to panic. Every time he faced uncertainty, his mind tried to retreat. Every time he felt loneliness, his mind tried to crumble. He realized one simple rule. Your mind will fight you unless you fight first. You have a choice. Lead your thoughts or be led by them. That's the key. Commanding your mind is not about force. It's about discipline. It's about training. It's about repetition. Every thought that arises is a signal. Every fear, doubt, and distraction is a test. And how you respond determines whether you survive or fail. Do not react. Observe. Analyze. Act through discipline. That's the difference between chaos and clarity. The astronaut faced his darkest moment alone in the ship. Systems failing, no contact, no certainty. The mind screamed, "Give up, you failed, nothing matters." He could have surrendered. He could have let the fear win, but he didn't. He reminded himself, I have a choice. I will command my mind. I will not obey panic. I will act. And in that moment, control returned. The fear didn't disappear. The doubt didn't vanish. But he acted anyway. That's the key. You must understand this. Your mind will never give you peace. It will never make life easy. It will never provide answers. It will always test you. It will always challenge you.
it will always create chaos. The stronger your mission, the stronger the resistance. The stronger your purpose, the louder the mind will fight. That's normal. That's natural. That's why discipline exists. Commanding your mind is about creating systems. Control your inputs, control your routines, control your environment. Stop letting every notification, opinion, and distraction dictate your focus. Stop letting every fear and doubt dictate your actions. You have a choice. You don't need permission. You don't need certainty. You don't need reassurance. You need discipline. You need repetition. You need control. That's the signal that cuts through the chaos. The astronaut used simple tools to regain mastery. Observation. Notice the thoughts without obeying them. Redirection. Focus energy on the next actionable step. Repetition. Do it again, every time, without fail. Every time the mind tried to panic, he used the same process. Observe, redirect, repeat. Every time. And slowly, the mind became a tool instead of an enemy. The thoughts didn't disappear. The fear didn't vanish. But he could operate despite them. That's how you survive. That's how you thrive. That's how you win. You have a choice. Fight your mind or let it fight you. Command is the difference between chaos and clarity. Command is the difference between action and hesitation. Command is the difference between survival and surrender. Most people fail not because the world is hard. They fail because their mind is harder. The mind is relentless. The mind is deceptive. The mind is dangerous. But your discipline is stronger. Your focus is sharper. Your purpose is clearer. Command your mind or lose the mission. Every thought you allow unchecked is a leak in your system. Every doubt you obey is a crack in your armor. Every distraction you indulge is a delay in your destiny. You have a choice. Shut it down, redirect it, use it to your advantage. Turn fear into focus. Turn doubt into discipline. Turn chaos into clarity. That's how the astronaut survived the void. That's how you survived the storm. You don't need to eliminate the mind. You need to dominate it. You don't need to feel nothing. You need to feel everything and act anyway. You don't need the world to help you. You need to control yourself. Because once you command your mind, nothing can stop you. Once you command your mind, fear becomes strategy. Once you command your mind, silence becomes preparation. That's power. That's freedom. That's the signal of mastery. The astronaut mastered his mind. He didn't wait for courage. He didn't wait for clarity. He acted through discipline. You must do the same. Stop obeying the panic. Stop obeying the doubt. Stop obeying the fear. Command it. Redirect it. Use it to your advantage. You have a choice. Lead your mind, or it will lead you into failure. That's the key. You've learned to act without waiting. You've learned to face silence. You've learned to master emotion. You've learned to focus on one purpose. You've learned to endure with patience. Now you must master your mind itself. Because control over your mind means control over your destiny. The next lesson is about action under pressure, how to maintain that command when the world is collapsing around you.
Chapter 8. Become the Signal. You've waited. You've faced silence. You've mastered emotion. You've focused. You've endured. You've commanded your mind. Now it's time to become the signal. The astronaut discovered this truth in the dead expanse of space. Signals don't wait to be heard. Signals don't pause for permission. Signals don't hope for recognition. They transmit. They persist. They act. That's what you must do. You are the signal. The world isn't going to tell you what to do. The world isn't going to light the path. The world isn't going to rescue you. You are the one who moves. You are the one who transmits. You are the one who persists, even when nothing is visible. Stop waiting for recognition. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for opportunity. You are the opportunity. You are the transmission. You are the signal. Signals cut through chaos. They pierce through noise. They exist in the void. And they endure. When the astronaut finally sent the signal, it didn't matter if anyone responded immediately. The act of sending it was enough. The persistence of it created momentum. The consistency of it transmitted power. You must do the same. Being the signal isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what matters consistently. Stop reacting to every distraction. Stop chasing every shiny thing. Stop letting emotion dictate your actions. Transmit. Transmit with purpose. Transmit with clarity. Transmit with discipline. That's how you create influence. That's how you create progress. That's how you create change. The astronaut didn't know if anyone would hear him. He didn't know if anyone would respond. He didn't know if his effort mattered. And yet he transmitted. That's the principle. Action is not dependent on recognition. Effort is not dependent on reward. Transmission is not dependent on response. You have a choice. Be silent or send your signal. That's the key. The world will resist. Distractions will try to drown you. Critics will try to stop you. Your own mind will try to retreat. But a signal ignores resistance. A signal persists. A signal keeps transmitting no matter what. And that persistence shapes reality. It doesn't beg. It doesn't hope. It simply exists and creates impact. Signals are simple. They are repetitive. They are disciplined. That's why most people fail. They try to be loud instead of consistent. They try to impress instead of transmit. They wait for perfection instead of sending imperfect effort. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. You don't need clarity from the world. You need clarity in yourself. Become the signal. Send it daily. Send it relentlessly. Send it with discipline. Every action you take is a transmission. Every habit you maintain is a transmission. Every choice you make with purpose is a transmission. The signal doesn't wait for applause. It doesn't wait for acknowledgement. It doesn't wait for the perfect conditions. It exists. It moves. It persists. That's your new standard. The astronaut became more than a survivor. He became a transmitter of will, a model of discipline, a beacon in the void. And that's what you must be. Stop seeking permission. Stop asking for approval. Stop waiting for someone to notice. You are the signal.
Your work is the signal. Your focus is the signal. Your life is the signal. Transmit it. You have a choice. Fade into silence or become the force that cuts through it. A signal doesn't falter. A signal doesn't panic. A signal doesn't stop because the world doesn't respond immediately. A signal persists. That's the lesson. Consistency is louder than noise. Persistence is more powerful than chaos. Discipline is the ultimate frequency. Become that frequency. Here's how to start. Decide what matters most. Focus on one mission, one purpose, one signal. Transmit daily. Small actions, repeated consistently, create power. Ignore external validation. The signal is not sent for approval. Persist in silence. Even when unseen, even when unrewarded, keep sending. Every day you transmit, you increase your frequency. Every day you act, you reinforce your discipline. Every day you persist, you shape the world around you, even if invisibly. Signals are contagious. Others notice. Eventually, influence spreads. Impact happens. But it only begins when you stop waiting. Stop hoping. Stop doubting. Stop reacting. Start transmitting. Start persisting. Start becoming the signal. The astronaut survived because he transmitted even when the world was silent. He thrived because he transmitted with purpose, focus, and discipline. He became unstoppable because he became the signal. And that's what you must do. Transmit in every action. Transmit in every decision. Transmit in every habit. You are no longer waiting for signals. You are the signal. You've learned to act without waiting. You've learned to endure silence. You've learned to master emotion. You've learned to focus. You've learned to wait with discipline. You've learned to command your mind. Now it's time to become the force that changes everything. Chapter 9. The cost of distraction is death. Distraction kills. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't negotiate. The astronaut learned this on the edge of space. A single lapse, one glance, one skipped check, one delayed decision, and the ship could have been destroyed. One moment of distraction, one system left unchecked, one thought wandering. Death. That's how precise the cost is. That's how unforgiving the universe is. And that's exactly how life works. Every day, people die from distraction. Not physically, always, but they die to their potential. They die to their purpose. They die to the mission they swore to themselves. Every ping, every scroll, every irrelevant conversation is a tiny death. Every time you choose noise over focus, comfort over challenge, reaction over discipline, you die a little. That's the key. Distraction is lethal. The astronaut couldn't afford distraction. Every error was fatal. Every delay could mean disaster. He learned to treat every decision like it mattered, because it did. Your life is no different. Every wasted hour, every moment of inattention, every surrender to emotional chaos costs you. It doesn't feel immediate. It doesn't feel fatal, but it compounds. It destroys silently. And when you finally realize it, it's almost too late. Distraction is seductive. It whispers comfort. It promises escape. It masks weakness as relaxation. But the cost is always real. The cost is always lethal. The cost is death to your potential, to your mission, to your mastery. You have a choice: fight it or let it kill you. That's the key. The astronaut disciplined his mind to eliminate distraction. Every beep, every alert, every thought that didn't serve the mission was ignored. Every impulse to just check or just delay was refused. Discipline is your shield. Focus is your weapon. Obedience to the mission is your armor. Distraction is the enemy. Distraction doesn't negotiate. Distraction kills. You've been trained to react to everything: a notification, a comment, a complaint, a new opportunity. Stop. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everything deserves your life. Every second wasted is a second you cannot get back. Every distraction is a death sentence for your potential. You have a choice: fight it, ignore it, master it, or die to the life you could have led. The astronaut realized the cost personally. One careless moment could have ended him. One delayed action could have destroyed his mission. One distraction could have killed him. And so he eliminated everything that wasn't essential. Noise, gone. Comfort, gone. Approval, gone. Only the mission remained. Only the signal remained. Only the discipline remained. That's the lesson. When survival depends on focus, every distraction becomes deadly. Life works the same way. Your distractions are lethal. Your indecision is lethal. Your procrastination is lethal. If you want to survive, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and purposefully, you must eliminate them. Every "I'll check later" kills your future. Every "I'll rest now" kills your momentum. Every "just this once" kills your discipline. Stop excusing it. Stop rationalizing it. Stop letting it live. The cost is death, and death does not negotiate. Distraction is death in disguise. It comes softly. It seduces. It whispers. It doesn't matter. But it does. It matters. It matters to your mission. It matters to your discipline. It matters to your life. The astronaut didn't argue with it. He didn't debate it. He didn't let it linger. He destroyed it. That's what you must do. Here's how to survive. Identify the distractions. Name them. Recognize them. Acknowledge the enemy. Eliminate unnecessary input. Remove anything that doesn't serve your mission. Execute relentlessly. Every action should transmit power. Every thought should transmit clarity. Every time you obey a distraction, you die a little. Every time you resist a distraction, you live a little more. Your mission is too valuable to die to noise. The astronaut's survival depended on one principle: unwavering attention. Your success depends on the same principle. Distraction is not harmless. Distraction is fatal. Distraction kills dreams, discipline, focus, and momentum. Stop obeying it. Stop rationalizing it. stop participating in it. You have a choice: master your attention or be destroyed by it. That's the key. Every time you feel the pull of distraction, remember, it's trying to kill your potential. It's trying to destroy your mission. It's trying to erase the signal you are sending to the world. Do not allow it. Do not compromise. Do not negotiate. The cost is death, and death does not forgive. The astronaut survived because he treated distraction as lethal, because he acted, because he ignored comfort, because he refused to surrender to noise. You must do the same. Distraction will always exist. The world will always compete for your attention. Your mind will always create excuses. Do not obey. Do not bend. Do not die. Master your attention. Protect your focus. Maintain your signal. Distraction kills. Discipline saves. You've learned to act without waiting. You've learned to endure silence. You've learned to master emotion. You've learned to focus. You've learned patience. You've learned to command your mind. You've learned to become the signal. Now you've learned the ultimate cost of surrendering to distraction. Your life, your mission, your potential all depend on the next step.
Chapter 10. Transmit until the end. You've learned everything. You've mastered waiting. You've mastered focus. You've mastered your mind. You've faced silence. You've eliminated distraction. You've become the signal. Now it all comes down to one principle: transmit until the end. The astronaut understood this truth in the void of space. It wasn't about hope. It wasn't about recognition. It wasn't about reward. It was about persistence. It was about discipline. It was about action, every single day, no matter the circumstances. Transmit, transmit, transmit. That's the key. Every day you wake up, the world will challenge you. Every day, obstacles will try to break you. Every day, your mind will betray you. Every day, distractions will attack your focus. And every day, you have a choice: transmit or collapse. The world doesn't reward the hesitant. The universe doesn't save the uncertain. Survival belongs to those who persist. You have a choice: transmit or fail. The astronaut transmitted, day after day, month after month, year after year. No applause, no recognition, no guarantee. Yet he persisted. Because transmitting is not about reward. Transmitting is about action. Transmitting is about purpose. Transmitting is about survival. You have a choice: stop transmitting and fade into the background. Keep transmitting and leave a mark no one can erase. Transmission requires everything you've learned. Discipline. You act even when unmotivated. Focus. You do the one thing that matters most. Emotional control. You act regardless of fear, doubt, or frustration. Patience. You persist when the results are invisible. Mind command. You refuse to obey destructive thoughts. Without these, your signal falters. Without these, your mission fails. Transmit, transmit, transmit.
You will fail sometimes. You will stumble. You will feel weak. You will wonder if it's worth it. Do it anyway. The astronaut stumbled too. Systems failed, mistakes were made, doubt crept in, fear rose, and yet he transmitted. Every setback became fuel. Every failure became repetition. Every silence became opportunity. That's the difference between survivors and quitters. They transmit through adversity. Transmission is relentless. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care if you feel like it. You must persist anyway. Transmit when tired. Transmit when unmotivated. Transmit when ignored. Transmit when afraid. Because every time you transmit, you strengthen your signal. Every time you transmit, you build momentum. Every time you transmit, you reinforce your discipline. That's the key. The world will try to silence you. Critics will try to stop you. Chaos will try to distract you. Do not obey. Do not pause. Do not surrender. Transmit, transmit, transmit. No matter the silence, no matter the obstacles, no matter the fear. The signal does not stop. The mission does not stop. You do not stop. Transmission is not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's tedious. It's lonely. But that's the point. Greatness is built in silence. Mastery is forged in repetition. Legends are created in the unseen moments. The astronaut didn't wait for applause. He didn't wait for recognition. He transmitted until the end. And that's what you must do. Every action you take, every decision you make, every habit you maintain, it's transmission. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, focus over distraction, persistence over quitting, it's transmission. Transmit in everything you do. Transmit in every choice. Transmit in every moment. Because your life, your mission, your legacy depends on it. The final truth is simple. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to signal you. No one is coming to give you permission. You have to transmit. You have to act. You have to persist. Every day, every hour, every minute. Transmit until the end. The astronaut survived because he refused to stop. He endured every challenge, every silence, every failure. He transmitted until the end, and in doing so, he became unstoppable. You can do the same. You have all the tools. You have all the lessons. You have all the discipline. Now act. Now persist. Now transmit. Until the end. And when you do, nothing, no fear, no doubt, no chaos can stop you. You will survive. You will thrive. You will become unstoppable. The signal is alive, and it begins with you. The mission was never about survival. It was about transmission. In every silence, you have a choice: to collapse or to communicate strength. The world may never answer, but your discipline echoes. Your focus carries farther than your fear. Your stillness transmits louder than your panic. You are not waiting for a signal. You are the signal. You are proof that meaning still exists in a mind that refuses to break. So rebuild, endure, transmit. Somewhere out there, another version of you is listening. Make sure they hear the strength in your voice.